All right, so for today's video, we're going to kind of be touching upon two different stories, but the main story I want to talk about is journalism in today's day and age. It's becoming more and more apparent as videos come out and expose these journalists that a lot of this is just smear campaigns on individuals. And in particular with this story, we're talking about the conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because a new video just came out in regards to this story here, which is the explosion that happened on the Rainbow Bridge, which is the crossing between the US and Canada border at Niagara Falls. Now, the video at hand that I want to talk about just came out, and it's a journalist who is questioning Pierre on his remarks in regards to the explosion and whether it was appropriate for him to say that this was a terrorist attack, which he never actually did.
Parle the ratio of the Canadian press, et si vous pouviez répondre dans les deux langues officielles, je l'apprécierais.
Do you think it was responsible for you to call yesterday's explosion by the by the checkpoint at the Rainbow Bridge terrorism when no U.S. or Canadian officials said that was or authorities said that was the case, and when the New York governor also said there was no evidence to suggest terrorism activity?
Actually, you're wrong. You're a CP? Okay, so CP, by the way, CP, just for everyone's knowledge, did have to make 3 corrections for falsehoods that they put into a single article. I think that might be unprecedented. I'm actually thinking about checking with the Guinness Book of World Records to see if there's ever been a news agency that has had to issue 3 corrections for patent falsehoods that they admit they had been made in one single article, and now you've made yet another falsehood in your question. Where you are wrong is that CTV reported that the government of Canada was presuming that the incident was terrorist. So, yeah, that's what I said in my remarks. You're right. It was a media report.
But it's citing media reports and not...
Which is what I said. In the House, I said there are media reports.
And you think that's a responsible thing to go on, to make that kind of a statement at the time without speaking...
What kind of statement?
Calling something terrorist.
I didn't. I said there were media reports.
But that's the distinction we're making? Okay.
No, there's no distinction. What I said, and I was right, was that there were media reports of a terror-related event. By your admission, there were media reports of a terror-related event. And that media report, according to CTV, unless you're questioning their integrity now, came from security officials in the Trudeau government. So do you think the CTV was irresponsible in putting out that tweet?
Do you think it was a responsible comment to make in the House of Commons?
Sorry, I'm asking, I have already answered that. Do you think CTV was irresponsible to put that tweet out?
That's none of my business. That's not for me to comment.
Well, you just did comment. Okay. So, I just hope you're not going to print something that you have to apologize for again. Okay.
So you see there, she's kind of, stumbling on her words, gobsmacked a little bit, doesn't really know how to respond, especially when he's calling her out. And this is the clip that he's referring to, which he was mentioning that he said in the question period.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we've just heard media reports of a terrorist attack, an explosion at the Niagara crossing of the Canada-U.S. border. At least two people are dead, one is injured. It is the principal responsibility of government to protect the people. Can the Prime Minister give us an update on what he knows and what action plan he will immediately implement to bring home security for our people?
So clearly right there, you can see he said exactly that it's being reported that this could be a terrorist attack. Not that it is, and he never stated that it was. He simply said that it's being reported, and he was wondering if the Prime Minister had any more information on it. Now again, I mentioned that I wanted to kind of bring this up because this is a pattern that I've been seeing lately as I've been watching a little bit more of the Canadian news, trying to keep up with the politics and everything. And I remember this kind of starting back last year with Global News kind of berating him while he was making a statement while in the parliamentary building. And here's that video.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate your presence here today. Before I begin, let me just say that This cost, it is just inflation. Their homes and to buy a home in the very first place.
I'll put my hand up.
The reason that,
Look, Anthony, ask the question. Is that
yep.
the way it works?
So I mean, we
So, I mean, kind of inappropriate in my opinion. I don't really recall many reporters doing that to, say, Justin Trudeau or anybody else. They typically let somebody talk or answer a question or say their statement before chiming in. But this guy seemed very aggressive. And after that, we had another incident earlier this year back in August where another reporter started spewing out these talking points that they like to throw out, like right wing or far right. They were making statements like this, which, again, Pierre pushed back at.
We'll have time for 5 questions from the floor.
Hello, Mr. Poilievre. A number of your own comments and actions have been characterized as dog whistling to
by
the
who?
far right.
By who?
By a number of
By
different.
who?
But I think it's been
By
characterized
who?
by that way. But
By
are
who?
you trying to
Sorry,
court? Are
I
you
just
trying
need
to
I
court
need to
the far
clarify.
right
Sorry,
vote?
I just need to clarify. By who?
By a number of different experts and a number of
who are the
different people
experts?
who work
Who are the
work in this.
experts?
Okay, well, I think
All
it's
right.
been established that
Right.
this is a
I-
concern.
it's
Are you
not-
trying to court the far right vote?
Who are these experts? You say that there are experts who are saying this. Who are they?
My question is, are you trying to court the
Sorry,
far right vote?
I'm sorry. Your question seems to be based on a false premise. You can't even tell me who these experts are. It sounds like it's just a CBC smear job. Thank you.
And as you can see there, Pierre is not having it. He wants to get down to the bottom line. He questions him, pushes back, says, no, give me examples. Who are these experts? Who's saying these things? What is it that you're talking about? And these reporters just keep stumbling. Now, a lot of people would say the most recent and, well-known one that was kind of covered even internationally was the clip from about a month ago where Pierre, again, was eating an apple and being questioned by a reporter who, again, was saying the same thing about Donald Trump and taking a page out of his book and the populace and far right. And Pierre was just kind of like, what is it that you're talking about? And here's that clip.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
certainly
Give me an
you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type
I
of
almost never
ideological
talk about.
thing.
I never really talk about left
But
or right.
anyways, a lot
I
of
don't
people
really believe in that.
Okay. A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump
Well,
book.
like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
Like who?
I don't know who, but
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
you must know somebody.
okay. I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways,
Some
the
people
point
say.
of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
What are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me
Okay.
a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms
that.
of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
I'm not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question
Okay,
is.
then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change.
So again, it's becoming more and more apparent that these journalists just keep spewing out garbage and, what they always say is misinformation or disinformation. It seems like they're just perpetuating that so that they can get these like little tags or headlines or smear them. And if you actually listen to the news that was coming out just after the explosion happened at the Rainbow Bridge, it's kind of what they were insinuating at some points by saying we have to do our due diligence because we don't actually know what it is. But this is a sensitive issue in a very sensitive area like the border crossing. And here's that.
But as I continue on with you, Mr. Kowalski, what does it say that 4 bridges are closed and a highway on the Canadian side about a potential threat here?
Yeah, so I look at that from a couple different standpoints.
again, I think it's due diligence to close the other borders because right now, again, infancy of the investigation, we don't know if it's a terrorist event. You also have to always assume that, you know, if there's one incident, there's going to be another incident. So again, the due diligence is to close the borders in that specific area.
It's just very strange that these are the new journalists that we have in today's day and age, where they're just trying to get these weird takes or clicks or whatever it is, and they're not actually helping the people who, you know, may listen to them or read their stuff or watch something, because then those people are just misinformed because of these people trying to push something. But, you know, as always, love to hear from you guys. As I said, hope you all have a great weekend, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.